Rossi with Velocity360.io. Velocity360 is a website that teaches you how to become a full-stack developer through video tutorial series. So please check us out on the web at Velocity360.io. So today's tutorial series is going to be one that teaches you how to launch an AWS instance and install your backend and your front end on that instance. So we're basically going to just launch an AWS EC2 instance from scratch, install Node.js on that instance, as well as React.js, so that you can manage your backend, your front end, and your server all in one. So today's video is going to teach you how to launch that instance from scratch and how to connect to it from your computer. Please follow along in following tutorials so that you can learn how to launch that backend as well as the front end. So the first thing that we're going to do, I actually have to open up a new incognito window here so that it doesn't log me in automatically, is we're going to go to aws.amazon.com. Okay. We're going to go ahead and create a free account once we're at AWS. So we can say I am a new user and sign up with our email. Go ahead and create the account. Next, what we're going to do is fill out some personal information about ourselves. I'm going to go ahead and cut this part out. Okay guys, so I just filled out my contact info, payment, identity verification, and now I'm on the support plan part of the setup here. This is all pretty basic stuff. Just make sure that you get all that info right and you verify your identity with Amazon, so they're going to call you on the phone. And then we come to our support plan. We're just going to choose basic because we don't want to pay for support and we're using basic services anyway. So go ahead and select that and click continue. Alright, great. So now we got a confirmation and we're just going to go ahead and complete sign up in the top right. Perfect. So now we can log into our newly created account. Okay, so you'll notice that we're now at the Amazon AWS dashboard. So we can search for services, but the first thing that we're going to want to do is come up here to the top right. Now there are several different regions that Amazon supports. This is where their server groups are located. You're going to want to choose the one that is located nearest to you so that you can have the most bandwidth and least distance going between that location. So we're going to check US East, North Virginia, because I'm located in New York City. Perfect. Now we can come over here to our services and select EC2. Alright, great. So this is our dashboard for our EC2 instance. What an EC2 basically is just a blank server that's shared. So it's a virtualized server and you can launch anything that you want on it, really. So you can put up Python files that you want to run, or you can automate things with the server. So what we're going to do is launch a web server on it. We're going to go ahead and launch an instance. Great. So it gives us a choice of what Amazon machine image, aka what distribution of Linux you want to install, or Windows Server. You can choose any one here, except for Windows Server, but I am going to select the one that is most comfortable for me, which would be Ubuntu Server. I'm going to go ahead and select that. And right down here, you're going to want to make sure that you've checked off the one that says free tier eligible, because we don't want to get charged. We're only using a very minor amount of computing power. So we can use this for now and then always scale up if necessary. Go ahead and review and launch. Alright, great. Now you're getting a warning up here. Don't worry, this does not mean that you've done anything wrong. It's just suggesting to create a tighter security group for your instance so that not anybody can access it. So if we scroll down here and take a look at our security group, we'll notice that we are allowed to use SSH over the TCP protocol on port 22, and our source can be anywhere on the internet. That's what the 000 means. If we wanted to lock that down further, we can change our source to be only your computer. However, we won't worry about that now. We're just going to go ahead and keep going and launch the instance. Perfect. So we're going to have to create a new key pair here because this is what we're going to use to actually connect to our instance. This is part of the security feature that Amazon has implemented. We're going to go ahead and enter a key pair name. I'll call this basic web server, and then download that key pair file. All right, great. Let me go ahead and launch the instance. Okay, we're going to go back to the review screen because it looks like we got an error. Security groups. Okay, I'm just going to create a new key pair here. And I'm going to give it the name web_server, and then download that key pair and launch the instance with that key pair. Okay, perfect. I think the error had something to do with the fact that I had another key pair on my computer named basic web server, but we won't worry about that right now. We have our new key pair for this instance saved in the downloads folder. All right, great. If you scroll down a little bit, you'll see View Instances in the bottom right. We're going to go ahead and click that. And it'll tell us exactly what's going on here. So you can think of each instance as a server, and we can see the status of the server as well as some basic information about it. So now that we've launched our instance, we have to go about connecting to it from our computer. So what we're going to do is launch the terminal app on our MacBook and bring it over here. Now, we connect to the server through a command line interface, and we're going to be using SSH to connect to the server so that we can control it. So we're going to go ahead, and the first thing we're going to do is CD into our downloads folder. So that CD just changes the directory for us. Now that we're in downloads, we know we have our key pair available. We go open Finder, downloads, and we know our web server.pem is there. Let's take a look at what options we have via the SSH command. Okay, hit SSH. Great. So this gives us various flags that we can use to connect to the server. And so what we're going to need to use is the -i tag because we have an identity file that the server needs to use to verify where this connection is coming from. So we're going to go ahead, and it's important that you're in the downloads folder here, using that CD step before, so that we can actually have access to that identity file. So we're going to go ahead and SSH-I web server.pem, that's the name of our identity file. Now what we have to do is actually connect to the server. So we need to provide a username and address to connect to. If you come over to your Amazon dashboard, you'll see there's an option for public DNS down here. You're going to want to copy this address because this is what we're SSHing into. So we're going to go ahead and use Ubuntu at EC2 52 address and hit enter. Okay, great. Now we're going to just say yes so that we continue connecting. Okay, this is good. So we got a warning here, unprotected private key file. So what I forgot to do before is that we have to actually lock down the permissions on our private key file so that nobody can change it. So we're going to go ahead and do that now. The command is sudo chmod, and then we're going to change the permissions to 600, and we're going to target web server.pem. Go ahead and hit enter, and your password. There we go. So now we should be able to repeat this SSH command, and just like that, we've logged into our server. So once you're in the server, you can use any basic Linux shell command. So for example, I can hit ls and try to find out where we are, or we can change directories and go up one level, and we'll do one more. So now we're in the root directory of the actual folder of the of the server. And so from here, we can do anything that we want. Basically, we can install our backend for our server if we want, or run scripts or anything like that. So that concludes today's tutorial session on how to launch your Amazon EC2 server and connect to it. And next time, we're going to be actually installing Node.js and installing NPM so that we can set up a basic Node.js server as a backend for our web server. I hope you check us out at velocity360.io and join us next time for the next tutorial in this series.